Okizeme is one of the most important aspects of fighting games. It's a Japanese word that's been adopted globally by the FGC, although you'll usually hear it shortened to Oki. It's the pressure you get after a knockdown. Knockdowns are a massive advantage state, which give you a ton of options while limiting your opponent. This allows for layered mind games where the odds are heavily in your favour. In Street Fighter 6, it's not uncommon for rounds to be won off a single neutral interaction. One knockdown can often snowball into another, keeping the opponent at disadvantage for the entire round. Understanding Oki will let you turn your hit into an advantage state, which will lead to even more openings. By the end of this video, you should have an understanding of how to get Oki, how to make the most of it, and even how to find your own setups rather than copying others. The first step to getting Oki is getting a knockdown, but not all knockdowns give Oki. Some knockdowns will leave you too far to close the distance before they're back on their feet. Many characters are able to spend meter to use a different combo ender that gives better Oki. For example, Bison's medium bomb combo does not give Oki. He can instead use OD scissors to go into heavy bomb, which does give Oki. In many fighting games, it's rare to get Oki mid-screen. Street Fighter 6 is an exception. Drive Rush is a powerful tool for closing the distance and allows you to get Oki from much further out than a dash. The extra frame advantage from a Drive Rush also makes the situation afterwards much stronger. Most moves give better Oki if the opponent doesn't backroll. Note that if a move causes a hard knockdown, the opponent can't backroll, so Oki is usually guaranteed. This is relevant for throws, which cause a hard knockdown on punish counter, allowing for strong mid-screen Oki. If the opponent is cornered, you'll get Oki from almost any hit. This is one of the reasons why cornering the opponent is so powerful. Knowing how to get Oki is only the first part of the problem. You need to know how to pressure your opponent from this situation. The simplest option is to go for a strike-throw mix-up, either hit your opponent or throw them. If you use a plus move, then you'll keep your turn even if they block. An attack that hits your opponent the moment they wake up is called a Meaty. You'd be surprised how high a rank you need to get before the opponent starts blocking on wake up. Learning some Meaties will get you very far. When trying to hit your opponent's Meaty, you may find that you actually hit too early and the move whiffs. You can fix this by manually delaying your move, but there is a more consistent way. Frame kills. Frame kills are moves you intentionally whiff to get a set timing. This takes the manual timing out of the equation entirely. You'll often see high-level players whiff lights after a knockdown. There's a good chance they're doing this as a frame kill. There's actually a second definition of the word meaty. This one is a bit more complicated, so bear with me. Attacks usually do a fixed amount of block stun regardless of which frame they hit on. By hitting on a later active frame, you'll recover faster but your opponent won't. This gives you more advantage. Moves that hit after the first active frame are said to hit meaty. This is a more advanced concept. If all the talk of active frames has confused you, I do have a video on frame data linked in the description. One useful application for this second type of meaty are overheads. Some characters' overheads can hit meaty enough to give a combo afterwards. This allows for a true high-low mix-up that leads to a combo. Not every character's overhead can hit meaty enough to combo. For example, Luke's can't. Even if you can't get a meaty overhead, you can do a Drive Rush overhead to get a combo instead, thanks to the extra frame advantage on hit. Mixing your opponent on wake up is all well and good, but that's assuming they're actually trying to block. What if they just reversal every time you knock them down? Or maybe they're delay teching. In this situation, you might want to go for a shimmy. Instead of going for an attack, you walk back slightly, blocking the opponent's reversal for a massive combo. This also beats the opponent trying to tech your throw even if they're delay teching. Shimmies are one of the best ways to deal with an opponent who isn't mashing but also refuses to block on wake up. Keep in mind that in order for a shimmy to beat a delay tech, you need to have enough space or advantage to be able to walk out of throw range. Otherwise you'll just eat the throw. You can still choose to do nothing to bait the reversal, but this is a harder read that covers less options. As a good rule of thumb, the more options a decision covers, the safer it is. Speaking of safe Oki, nothing quite beats a safe jump. This is a jump performed at specific timings so that it will hit the opponent meaty, but you'll recover in time to block a reversal. This can be a confusing technique to get your head around, but I do have a video on safe jumps which I'll link in the description. Converting a hit into pressure is the first step, but the real secret to high level offense is to follow that up for even more advantage. Looping offense allows you to keep your opponent guessing over and over again, trapping them at a disadvantage until they guess correctly. Throw loops are probably the most infamous example of looping offense in Street Fighter 6. After a throw in the corner, most characters are able to walk forward and get another strike throw mix-up. Many characters can even shimmy instead for even more options. When you hit your opponent in the corner, it's not always best to go for a massive cash out combo. Consider going for a combo which gives you good Oki instead. This allows you to keep the advantage. 2 combos will usually do more damage than 1, even if you are sacrificing some damage for Oki. An underrated skill is the ability to maintain corner control. You see this all the time in high level play. Players will sit just outside their opponent's range, keeping them in the corner. The defender is trapped in the corner, they cannot walk away. This allows the attacker to engage on their own terms. If they're at the right spacing, they can counter any of the defender's attempts to escape and put them right back where they started. Note that if you're too close to the opponent, they can hit you with buttons or jump over you. You want to stand slightly further back. You can then walk back and forward to try to bait your opponent. The opponent has no way of knowing if you're actually going in to attack them, or if you're just baiting them into whiffing a button for you to punish. There are some more advanced Oki techniques which I want to mention. These are a bit beyond this video, but I want to introduce them. Safe jabs are a counter to characters who have slow reversals. These are setups which allow you to hit the opponent with a jab, but recover in time to block their reversal. This technique is particularly useful against characters like Ed or Bison, who only have slow reversals. Plus 11 is a special number. If you're plus 11 on the opponent's wake up, you can do a drive rush jab. If they do a reversal super, you'll be early enough into the startup of your jab to do your own reversal and beat theirs. This involves a Kara cancel and is a very high level option select. You may sometimes hear the word set play. Set play technically refers to any pre-planned knockdown pressure, but people are usually referring to more intricate setups. People usually use it to refer to characters like Blanca or JP, who can use dolls, portals or other attacks to create complex Oki pressure. These setups are usually heavily in the attacker's favour and a nightmare to block if you haven't labbed against them. Finding your own Oki setups can be intimidating, but it's actually easier than you'd think. Go to training mode and turn on the frame meter. Do any move that results in a knockdown and save a state. Note how plus you are afterwards. Experiment with dashes, drive rush buttons and other options to see how this affects the frame data. Try to find moves which hit meaty to create an advantageous situation. Since the fastest move an opponent can do is 4 frames, you can leave up to a 3 frame gap between your opponent waking up and your move hitting. For example, Luke's crouching medium punch is 6 frames startup with 2 active frames. This means it will hit meaty if you're anywhere from plus 3 to plus 7. If you're more than plus 7, the move will be too early and whiff. If you're less than plus 3, the opponent will have time to interrupt with a jab. Using this information and a bit of trial and error, you can repeat your save state to figure out which options work after any knockdown. You can also set the dummy to do various responses on wake up to ensure you're able to cover all of them. This is a good way to test if you have the time and space to shimmy, or if you'll have to commit to a bait to beat a reversal. If you can find a way to get a mix-up, or to make yourself plus after a knockdown, then you've found Oki that's practical in a real match. The more mix-up options you can find, the better the pressure. You can also steal setups from other players, and I do encourage that. I still think it's a good idea to have an understanding of how Oki works. It will also help you to learn new characters without relying on copying others. This video has been focused on offense, but I may make a defensively focused getting off the ground video at some point in the future. If there are any topics you'd like to see me cover, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, make sure to subscribe and I'll see you all next time.